Good day everyone, today Fire Emblem Engage is now released and is now playable into your PC and in the Nintendo Switch. But if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, then this is the perfect video tutorial for you because I'm going to teach you where to get all of these files here, just like in my desktop, and how to get all these files and install Ryujinx Emulator so that you can play Fire Emblem Engage here. As you can see, I have Fire Emblem Engage and I have already played 21 minutes of it. So for those who do not know, Ryujinx Emulator is a Nintendo Switch emulator, and it can play Nintendo Switch games as long as you have installed these files into your Ryujinx Emulator. So as you can see, I have Fire Emblem Engage. So I'm going to show you first where to get Ryujinx Emulator. To do that, just open a web browser and then just type in Ryujinx Emulator. And then go to ryujinx.org and click on this website. Then go to download. And if you're using Mac OS, your Mac OS should be on Mac OS 11 or later version in order for Ryujinx Emulator to run. Then for those Linux, you can just download here. And for those who are using Windows, just like me, you can just download here. So I'm just going to skip the installation process, download and installation process, because that is really easy to do. And anyone can do that. So I'm just going to skip on this part and minimize on that. So first of all, if this is your first installation, boot up your Ryujinx Emulator, run it now. And you will be met with certain errors saying that you will need to install certain files. So these are the files that is needed to be installed into your Ryujinx Emulator so that you can run Fire Emblem Engage. So what are these files? These files are the Nintendo Switch keys and the Nintendo Switch firmware. It should be in version 15 in order for it to run Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Engage should be in XCI file format in order for it to run in your Ryujinx Emulator. So if you're asking me where you can get all these files, legally speaking, you can only get these files if you own a Nintendo Switch console, and you should mod it and have a custom firmware installed in it. Because if it has a custom firmware installed in it, then you can access your Nintendo Switch system files such as the keys and firmware. So just copy that file into your PC. And in order to get Fire Emblem Engage, you should own the game, you should buy it, have a physical copy of that game, and then digitally back it up into an XCI file format. But if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, or if you have a Switch but don't know how to mod or how to install a custom firmware or do the things that I have said, then I'm just going to save you the hassle and teach you where to get all these files. In order for you to get all these files, I'm just going to leave a QR code here. Just scan it with your QR code reader into your mobile phone, and then you'll be redirected to the download page wherein you can get all these files. So once you are in approms.com, then you can get the Fire Emblem Engage file in the middle part of the page. So it's in XCI file format already. And for you to get the keys and firmware, just hover down to the website and it's in the bottom part of the page. So you can just download the keys and firmware from there on. So be sure to check the entirety of the website so that you can get all of these files here, just like mine. So I'm just going to assume now that you have already downloaded all that files and that you have a copy of it into your PC now. So it's time to install them. Go to Ryujinx, then go to File, go to Open Ryujinx folder, and open System folder here. Then open this keys file here. Okay, open that, and then just drag and drop, copy and paste that to this folder. This folder should be empty if this is your first installation. Now it's time to install the firmware. To do that, just go to Tools, go to Install Firmware, install a firmware from XCI or zip file, and choose that firmware file and hit open. It will say install firmware, yes, and it will say successfully installed. Now, your Ryujinx emulator can now be able to detect Nintendo Switch games and it will be able to boot it up. So it will show all this title screen if you have followed all that step. It will show the icons of the game, okay? So what's the next step now? In order for you to play Fire Emblem Engage with no issues, we have to optimize your Ryujinx emulator. To do that, just go to Options, go to Settings, and in this part, just pause the video and copy my settings from here, okay? The game directories is where you will put your Nintendo Switch games, and Nintendo Switch games should be in XCI or NSB file format in order for it to be detected in Ryujinx emulator. Now go to Input. Here in this part, it is better that you use a controller because it's really hard to play Nintendo Switch games with using mouse and keyboard. Okay, so to configure, just hit Configure in Player 1. And your controller will be detected here. Mine is not detected yet, so I'm just gonna close in this. Hit configure again. Oh, it's not showing. Sometimes there is bug where your controller will not be detected. So I'm just gonna go to settings again, input, configure. If it's not showing, all you have to do is just disconnect the USB cable and then reconnect your controller into that USB cable. So I'm just gonna do that now. Close again, go to options, go to settings, you go to input, configure, and then it will be detected that your controller is being detected here, and you can set it up accordingly. If you don't have a Pro controller, you can just use your PlayStation controller or Xbox controller here and then hit save. Now go to the system tab, just pause the video and copy my settings from here on out. Okay, so be sure to copy everything. Now go to the graphics tab. So this is the most important part of the tutorial, so be sure to copy everything. Graphics backend multi-threading should be on. Graphics backend should be Vulkan. The preferred GPU should be your native graphics card or your dedicated graphics card. So enhancements should be enable shader cache and enable macro HLE. Resolution scale should be in 2x resolution. But if your PC cannot handle that, then you can just go with the native resolution of the Nintendo Switch. But for me, 2x is much better because the game will look much better and more sharper. Then anisotropic filtering should be auto. Aspect ratio should be 16:9. And once done, hit apply and save. Now your Ryujinx emulator is now fully capable of running and playing Fire Emblem Engage and all the other Nintendo Switch games into your PC. A little bit of disclaimer, I'm just going to show you guys a gameplay of Fire Emblem Engage because we all know that Nintendo is really strict on this kind of content and they don't want it to be seen in the internet. So if I show you the gameplay of Fire Emblem, then this video tutorial will be deleted and my channel might be taken down by YouTube if I do that. So I hope you guys do understand on that part. But I am willing to show you guys a little bit of boot up of Fire Emblem Engage in the title screen. So I'm just gonna do that now. And I'm just gonna blur the screen from here on out so that Nintendo will not be able to detect any of their content shown, and then they will not be able to hit me up with any copyright strike in this video tutorial. So again, guys, I hope you do understand with that part. As in now, I am now in the official artwork of Fire Emblem Engage. It is now starting to boot up. So this is all real time and no speed up. Okay. So there will be musical introduction, and I'm just gonna skip on that part so that it will not be detected by Nintendo.
Fire Emblem
And here
Engage.
This is the title screen, and it will run quite nice. So I'm just gonna stop the emulation now. I have played Fire Emblem Engage now, and as I can say that it runs day one with no issues at all. It runs smoothly, 30 FPS, and no graphical bugs. So if there are mods or any updates on this, I'm gonna show you that. So if you followed all the steps that I've shown you in this video tutorial, then you'll be able to play Fire Emblem Engage and all the previous Nintendo Switch games with no issues at all. So if you have some questions regarding the installation process of Fire Emblem Engage into your PC, then just leave a comment in the comment section below and I will try my best to answer all of them. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye for now.